Welcome to Lightning Ministries Daily Devotional. My name is Pastor Timothy Kirk, and I welcome you here today to hear what God has to say. Reading from Daniel chapter 9, verses 3 through 5, the title of the message is Obey God. I put a question mark at the end of that. The reason I did that is because Daniel in this particular story was put into a situation when he came into captivity to either serve the king and do what he wanted, or serve God and continue to do what he had already been doing and what he was taught to do. Now, even though Daniel was a prisoner, the king saw that there was a great benefit here that these kids had superior skills and intellect. That means they were smart. Imagine that. Now, as they grew up into their manhood, Daniel seemed to manage the ability to operate within the foreign system and without compromising his belief in his heavenly prayers and times. Even in the face of his punishment that he would receive, as we know, many different things, Daniel in the lion's den, having to worship the idol, he honored God and didn't disobey and was faithful in serving the Lord. Now, I realize that while this may seem like kind of a crossroads for most of us, Daniel here chose to follow the Lord over following man or, for that matter, his own desires. Now, my question to all of us is, are you following the Lord's path or are you following your own path? Some of us think that we need to make our own way instead of following God's way. But I realize that what here Daniel was enduring in this particular situation was that God would be very faithful to him and protect him, and provisioning would also be provided. But I realize too, if we look at a biblical principle here, is that in the effect, while Daniel was in Babylon in captivity, he again stayed true to his path. God was the promise of his deliverance, not his execution. Now, to make things worse, Daniel put not only himself in this position, but he put his friends in this one too. And to avoid the hard times, he says that he'll allow God to lead him every step of the way. Because I believe in Matthew it says that he'll lead us and be with us every step of the way. And that's Matthew 28:20. Now, if you and I know that this is important to God and that we have sin in our lives, then realize that doubt is certain to follow us because we can't serve two masters. And if obedience is the way that we find, it's going to give us courage, contentment, regardless of the circumstances. As Daniel, and that includes you and I, we need to refuse to change our principles and serve man and allow God to intervene every single time that we try to get off track. He will protect us and act in our behalf. No matter where you are in this particular day and situation, if you'll let God have it, God will control it and lead you in the way you should go. And even while we don't understand every little intricacy, our little finite minds are not capable of that. And that's because God knows the big picture. But are you willing to let God take control and lead you? I challenge you today with that. Also challenge you to be a part of what this ministry is doing. I challenge you to give to this ministry. And also challenge you to leave us a message of encouragement so that we can continue to believe that what we're doing is what God called us to do, especially me. So regardless of where you're at in life, God loves you and cares for you. And he will take you through it if you'll just take your hands off the wheel. Have a blessed day.